Welcome to the Bourbon Barkeep Lounge. My name is Curtis, and we got another House Call Wednesday. This is where the house randomly picks two pours from bottles that were donated, mostly bought, and we put them together and see who's better. I don't know what I'm tasting. This is, to avoid essentially some of the fanfare, if you will. Some of these could just be bottom shelfers where I may not be excited about it. And we still got to figure out the budget ones, right? So what we're going to do tonight is, looks like why did I pick purple? 65 is so difficult to read in the dark. And it looks like a 4. I don't know what those are. You don't know what those are. Unless you look down at the title, then you do. So we have Glass A. That's what we're going to start with here. We got the Bourbon Barkeep Glencairns. Those are available on our Patreon. So take a look at those tiers. I think they're free after some time. Years? No, just kidding. If you don't want to go the Patreon route, you can still help the channel by liking and subscribing. That at least lets you know when we're putting out stuff. And hopefully it's at least stomachable for you not to dislike it and unsubscribe. So there's that as well. There's that bar that I will set for the Bourbon Barkeep Lounge. Without further ado, let's get on with the tasting. Cheers to you all. This one, Glass A. I'm not even gonna attempt to tell you what the color is because it is unusually dark down here, I guess. I don't know what we're doing. That is loads of sweetness. I am 90% sure I'm gonna get a cavity after this pour. We're gonna go raspberry. Just all the red berries, I feel like. I get a rush of cherry, strawberry, raspberry, definitely a lot of vanilla. I'll go caramel. That vanilla and raspberry is very overpowering. Almost no oak on the nose. Sticking to the glass pretty well. So we'll kind of see what type of proof we have in store for us, but you can really get in there. It's a beautiful nose if you love sweet things. Like, I'm talking like pink nerds, anything red and high sugar. We'll just blanket it like that. On the palate, cheers. The pink nerds continue. You do get a little bit more oak on the palate at least. So the 11 sweetness on the nose dims down to about a 9.5, maybe a 9. The caramel starts to come through, so it starts to get a little bit darker, for lack of a better word, if you're talking kind of your sweetness from vanilla and nerds to oak, caramel. Cherry is definitely still there. Doesn't really sit on the tongue too long, but kind of lingers in your cheeks, if you will. If you just kind of want to stick a jawbreaker in your cheek or both cheeks, it's like that. And the jawbreaker's red. That should go without saying at this point. Second sip. Upon second sip, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's not a lot of complexity here. It's a very easy sipper. You still get the honey, the caramel, cherry. I'll stick with kind of that nerds candy, but sweetness at 11 on the nose. Senses is fine. Proof does not seem that high. There's no Kentucky hug. So maybe a good bourbon that I'm pouring, summer night, something like that, but yeah, just not a lot to it. It's a good pour, but yeah, we'll see what glass B has for us as well. Let's give this some swirls, open her up. Oh, okay. Intriguing. All the peach. Peach, maybe some cinnamon on there, vanilla. Oh man, that noses. It's tough to go from glass A, where it was so sweet, to this one that is also sweet, but it just has just a depth to it. Yeah, I'm gonna go, I mean, like a peach cobbler with the ice cream. It doesn't smell like a fresh cut peach, like one that's maybe like a stewed or cooked in pie filling. Maybe some brown sugar in there. Still not pulling out a ton of oak on either of these. Let's see what sip one has for me. Oh wow. Yeah, that's really damn good. The peach cobbler with ice cream continues through the palate, through the finish, to where it feels like I ate it. There's a really nice spice on the tongue, to where you get this rush of sweet with this kind of spice behind it that makes it, I guess, complex, I guess, for lack of a better word. Something else really smart will come to me while I'm editing it, and I can't do anything about it at that point. But ultimately, it has this really nice change of pace, even though the nose translates to the palate, translates to the finish. There is a medium plus finish, one that you at least know kind of, you swallowed it, which is nice. Glass A, I would not say had that. Was not expecting that full of a flavor and the zing at the end of it. So let's see if sip two kind of keeps that kind of prick of the tongue, if you will. Sip two, I don't think I would change much. To give you a little insight into Curtis's growing up, if you will, my family did not believe in birthday cakes. We got to pick ice cream cakes, cobbler, whatever it is. So going with the cobbler, this glass is like sticking a candle in there on my birthday and just, happy birthday to me. And I had this peach cobbler with the ice cream. It's kind of melting down the sides. It is delightful. There is a touch of spice, maybe like just a little bit of cinnamon to let you know it's there. The proof seems to be higher on glass B than glass A. I'm going to revisit A and B. I feel like after having B and the full-bodied spice finish, I feel like glass A may taste like water. So we'll see. I'll let you know. We're going to come back and then do some scoring as well. Also figure out what I'm drinking. That would be nice. But ultimately, this will be very interesting to see if glass A can actually keep up with glass B at this point. So stay tuned. Now, on to what we came here for, but I am very intrigued on what was actually poured tonight. So I'll take a look at the iPad. So if you see me like looking down, it's not self-confidence, even there is a lack of it. I'm reading, attempting to. So with this battle tonight, we had 65 and 4. Once again, if there is any skepticism, the numbers mean nothing. I just went behind and just started going for it. We have glass A is $60, glass B $55. So bang for the buck, not gonna help us a ton tonight. So to get into the senses then, the Bourbon Barkeep scoring system, which is posted in the description below. I probably flash it across my face as well. I'm gonna go glass A, just being pretty fine. Not overly impressed. I like candy bar type of bourbons. Doesn't have to be super high proof, but ultimately when you start going into these like really bright cherry and nerds and things like that, that's not gonna really grease my wheels, if you will. So I'm just gonna go with 77. It was fine. It was good. Enjoyed it. I would like to think that it was a high quality whiskey. Yeah, there's just not much else to say about it. It didn't change, it didn't develop, it didn't start to win me over. It was just, here I am. Here's my 3 notes. Glass B on the senses alone. It's gonna do well. That's a great pour. I want more of it. I'm gonna go 88. I mean, it's a great pour. Not a ton of complexity in terms of, you know, unless you like having the nose not meet the palate. If you are one that smells it, wants to taste that smell, this is your 98, I would say. This guy, 88. So for bang for the buck at $60 on glass A, it's just so unmemorable. I mean, if you like that sickening sweet, fine, but at $60, I feel like I could find a lot of things out there that would beat it. I don't know if I would say taste like it, because that's sweetness on a different level. So take that for what it is. I'm just gonna go just 60. It's bottom tier Pleasurable. I feel like highly average, you know, doesn't do it enough justice because it is good, clean, some oak in there, so maybe there's some age to it that we'll see. On a previous episode, Knob 18 didn't score well for bang for the buck until I knew it was 18 years. So kind of increase the bang for the buck. You can't sit there and have an 18-year-old bourbon cost $40. It's going to cost something. So the bang for the buck is one of the only ones I can at least bump it up, if you will. Glass B at 55, I'm gonna go just a 75. It's good. Once again, it didn't come across as super old, you know, so maybe I could be surprised. Maybe it gets lowered for all I know. But at least for what was in my mouth, at $55, I would gladly pay $10 to $25 more potentially. So let's go ahead and see what was actually in the glasses with this Bourbon Barkeep battle. Let's see, we have 65 is holy hell CYPB. Okay. I would probably say the definition of a unicorn bottle. And there's certain things that I wouldn't say I tried to trip myself up when we started kind of creating the blind piece of it. MSRP is $60. Will you ever find it for that? No. You poor soul. No. What I actually have written down next to the proof, which is 95 proof, if you were curious, is the secondary is anywhere between $500 and $800. I'm not gonna score it based off of the $800 because I feel like both you and I know where that would go. And I don't think I need to do that to Weller. Now for the people collecting the Weller Infinity Stones, you do what you want. It's your money, going ahead. for the people out here, like you and I, that want to spend their money wisely on great tasting bourbon. I get it. It's Weller. I get it. You're going to do what you're going to do. But in terms of what tastes better on the tongue, it is the Tumblin Dice 7-year. And that was very good. And if I remember right, so I know it's 113 proof, so it does have more proof to it. Take that for what it is when it comes to some of the tasting, the finish that we were kind of talking about. It is a higher rye, which makes a little bit more sense on kind of the zing on the tongue. I didn't get a ton of the rye notes though. It was kind of pure spice. But for $55, I mean, my God. Even with the being 7 years higher proof, I may bump up bang for the buck. But honestly, with knowing that it beat CYPB in senses, it beat it in bang for the buck, I'm not going to exhaust that. That Tumblin Dice is really damn good. I do have to preface, not easily findable on shelves that I've seen in Missouri, at least. The dashing Noah, who lives in Kansas, can find it everywhere. One of the things that I actually did when I was starting to pour some of these samples were, are they gettable? I mean, if it's only available in Kansas, or if Holiday is only available in Missouri, I don't really want to tell you about it because you can't buy it. It's not bragging. If anything, it kind of sucks for everybody. But this is available online, the Tumblin and Dice. So if you're interested in trying it, I'll put it in the description. Do what you want with it, but for $55, I would pay up. It's not 100, but I would pay up over 55. I think I said 75, something like that. Take that for what it is. Like we covered at the front, like, subscribe. Thank you all for coming back. Thank you all for contributing within the comments and letting us know you're out there. Definitely makes this easier to keep Bourbon Barkeep going. And until the next House Call Wednesday, we'll see what else wants to fight, because that's what we do here. Cheers to you all. Thank you again.